In our last video, we looked at how our spike prime sensors can control our motors simply by using an inbuilt feature inside the spike prime hub. In this video, we're going to take that one stage further and focus on the colour and light sensor. In your classrooms, you might be exploring colour and how light can be split into a spectrum of colours using a prism. You may have even done a little experiment using prisms and had your students explore the concepts of refraction and dispersion. We know that in the colour spectrum, every colour has a different frequency, and using the colour and light sensor, we can start to investigate this further with spike prime in a very hands-on and fun way. So you can see I've got my colour and light sensor set up here. That's connected to my port A. And connected to port B is my large motor. In the interest of fair testing, I've put a frame either side of my colour and light sensor, so I know that when I place my blocks of colours on top of there, they're at the same height. You can see here in my Spike app that I'm viewing my hub, and I can see that I've got my sensor connected to port A and my motor connected to port B. Both are reading 0%. My sensor, you can see there, is measuring reflected light, and my motor is measuring power. So let's see what happens when we start to put these colours on top of the frames. I'm going to start with blue, and if I place it on top, you can see that my motor starts to rotate, and if I look at my readings, that's reflecting about 3% back into the colour sensor, and my motor is going at around about 40% power. Let's take that off. Okay, let's do green. There it goes. Okay, that's reflecting slightly more light back, 5% here, and you can see that the motor is going a little bit quicker. Take that one off. Let's try orange. Okay, you can hear the motor going quicker now. 7% of light was being reflected back, and my motor going at around about 70% power. I wonder what will happen with yellow. Okay, even quicker. You can see the frequency is much different here. 10% of light being reflected back, and 90%, around about 90% power on the motors. So you can see as I start to explore those colours that the different frequencies have an immediate effect on the colour sensor and of course on the output through the motor. I've left these two to last, black and white. Let's just see what happens when each of those is placed over my colour sensor. Let's try black first. Okay, I've got a very slow moving motor. I've got 1% of light being reflected back into the sensor, and my motor is travelling at around about 13 and 14% power. Okay, let's have a look at white. And straight away, that's the highest amount of light we're getting reflected back into the sensor, and you can see that my motor is pretty much at full capacity. So there we are, a really playful, hands-on way in which your students can start to explore the colour spectrum and light frequency using the colour and light sensor and a motor in Spike Prime.